Girls Gone Camping Uncensored may contain coarse language and mature themes. Listener discretion is advised.
I'm Alana.
And I'm Amanda.
And this is Girls Gone Camping.
All right, well, welcome back to Twilight Terrors. It has been a minute since we recorded one of these. This episode is going to be a little different. I'm actually recording the first half solo today, mainly because we attempted to record it yesterday, but I might have forgotten to push the record button. But as always, we will close out the episode with Elena's campfire story. And also for this Twilight Terrors episode, instead of an urban legend or folklore, I'm actually going to talk about some creepy experiences people have reported while at some of the parks we visited this year. So, kind of a spoiler alert because some of these park episodes aren't out yet. But if you hear a creepy tale or want to have your own spooky experience at one of these parks, be sure to keep an eye out for that park episode to be released so you can hear what else that park might have to offer. We are going to jump right in. We're going to start with Emily Provincial Park. There's an eerie legend that haunts the nights at Emily Provincial Park, one that makes even seasoned campers uneasy. On more than one occasion, visitors have awoken to find strange footprints around their tent. These prints aren't just peculiar, they're unsettling, large, much bigger than a human foot, and their shape is unlike anything anyone has seen before. The prints appear to have deep, claw-like impressions, yet they don't match any known animal tracks in the area. Some who have encountered them describe a creeping sensation, as if something otherworldly had been circling their campsite while they slept. This strange phenomenon has sparked whispers among campers that these tracks belong to a forest spirit, an ancient, elusive creature that roams the woods under the cover of darkness, watching over the forest it has claimed as its own. Others believe it might be something far more sinister, a being that lurks just out of sight, waiting for the right moment to reveal itself. Ferris Provincial Park. The tranquil beauty of Ferris Provincial Park hides a dark history that still lingers near the banks of the Trent River. In the 19th century, an old mill stood proudly on the river's edge, its wheel turning steadily as it ground grain for the surrounding community. But one fateful night, the mill was engulfed in flames, burned down under mysterious circumstances. The miller, a solitary figure who was often seen working late into the night, perished in the fire, his screams echoing through the night air. To this day, visitors to the park report seeing the ghostly figure of a man near the river at dusk. Shrouded in the fading light of day, this apparition, believed to be the restless spirit of the miller, is often seen wandering near the remnants of the old mill, as if searching for something lost in the flames, perhaps his unfinished work, or maybe even a path to the afterlife. Those who encounter him described a profound sense of sorrow and a chilling cold that seeps into their bones, even on the warmest of summer evenings. As they watch, the figure slowly fades into the mist, leaving only the faint scent of smoke and a lingering unease. Sibbald Point Provincial Park. Now I have two for Sibbald Point. St. George's Cemetery, located near the entrance of Sibbald Point Provincial Park, is a place where the past refuses to rest. Visitors have long whispered of a ghostly woman dressed in white, often seen drifting silently between the headstones. She seems to float rather than walk. Locals believe she is Agnes Sibbald, a woman bound to the cemetery by the weight of her grief. Some say she mourns the loss of her loved ones, eternally tied to this earthly realm, unable to find peace. Her presence is most often felt on cool, misty nights when the fog rolls in from Lake Simcoe and the air is thick with a sense of foreboding. Those who have dared to approach her say that as they near, she turns to face them, her eyes filled with a sorrow so deep it chills them to the core. But just as quickly as she appears, she vanishes, leaving behind only the rustling of the wind through the trees and the faint scent of lilies in the air. And now the second one from Sibbald Point. Deep within the heart of the park, near the main beach on the shores of Lake Simcoe, another ghost haunts the night. On moonlit evenings, when the water is still and the park is quiet, a shadowy figure has been spotted standing silently by the water's edge. Described as a tall man dressed in old-fashioned clothing, his outline is stark against the silver sheen of the lake. Some say he's a spirit of a settler who met a tragic end in these waters, forever drawn to the lake that claimed his life. Those who see him describe an overwhelming sense of sadness, as if the man is eternally waiting for something, or someone, to return. As they approach, the figure disappears into the mist, leaving nothing but the gentle lapping of the waves against the shore. Mississauga Provincial Park. Mississauga Provincial Park is a place of profound quiet, where the sound of the forest takes on almost an otherworldly quality. But at night, the tranquility is sometimes broken by a strange and rhythmic drumming, echoing through the trees. The drumming is faint, yet unmistakable, a steady beat that seems to come from deep within the woods. Campers who have heard it describe being mesmerized by the sound, drawn toward it despite a growing sense of unease. Some believe the drumming is a connection to the area's indigenous history, the echo of ancient rituals performed long ago. Others are convinced it's something more supernatural, a warning or perhaps a summons from the spirit of the land. The sound is said to pull listeners deep into the forest, leading them away from their campsites and into the darkness. Just as the drumming seems to reach a crescendo, it abruptly stops, leaving the listener in an eerie silence, surrounded by the towering trees and the oppressive weight of the night. Those who have experienced it speak of an overwhelming sense of being watched, as if the forest itself is alive and aware of their presence. And lastly, Martin River Provincial Park. Martin River Provincial Park, with its deep woods and historic logging trails, is a place where the past is never far from the present. The most well-known story from this park is that of a ghostly figure said to haunt the old logging camp trails. According to legend, this apparition is a spirit of a logger who met a tragic end in the early 20th century. The story goes that he was involved in a horrific accident with his equipment, leading to his untimely death. Campers and hikers who frequent the trail have reported seeing a shadowy figure wandering the paths, carrying what appears to be an axe. The figure is often described as tall and rugged, dressed in old-fashioned work clothes with a presence that exudes both strength and sadness. As he walks, the sound of chopping wood can sometimes be heard, echoing through the trees even when no one else is around. Those who encounter him say he appears suddenly, stepping out of the shadow before vanishing just as quickly, leaving behind only the faint scent of pine and the unsettling feeling that he is still working, forever bound to the job that cost him his life. And that is everything I have about the spooky things that happen at parks we've been to. So, fun time to look this up before you go to a park, by the way, just if you want to feel a little creeped out while you're staying there. Anyways, thanks for tuning in to this Twilight Terrors episode, and now we're going to finish it off with a spooky campfire story. Take care.
In the heart of the dense, eerie woods, a group of 5 friends embarked on their long-awaited girls' weekend getaway. They sought solace from the stresses of everyday life, craving the freedom and adventure promised by the wilderness. After a morning of laughs, breakfast drinks, and snacks, it was time to get moving. Leaving their cozy campsite behind, the girls set out for a leisurely hike. Excited chatter filled the air as they navigated through the winding paths, their laughter echoing against the ancient trees. As the sun began its descent, casting long shadows across the forest floor, they stumbled upon a clearing with a dilapidated shack hidden amidst the trees. Its weathered exterior exuded an ominous aura. Ignoring the warnings of danger whispered by the wind, they saw it as the perfect setting for their adventure. Eager to capture the moment, they indulged in a flurry of selfies, their smiles masking the unease that lingered beneath the surface. Yet, amidst the clicking of cameras and playful poses, a chilling whisper brushed against their ears, barely audible above the rustling of leaves. Unease prickled at their senses, but they dismissed it as mere imagination, attributing it to the eerie ambience of the woods. But as the darkness cloaked the land, a chilling fog slithered through the foliage, sending shivers down their spines. Two of the friends, drawn by a strange compulsion, ventured towards the source of the whisper, heedless of the warning signs that flickered in their minds. As they crossed the threshold of the shack, a heavy door slammed shut behind them, sealing them in darkness. Outside, panic gripped the remaining three friends as they peered through the dusty window of the shack, their hearts pounding with fear. In the dim light, they caught sight of someone, but it was not their two friends that they saw, and a primal dread seized hold of their souls. There, in the fading light, a pair of eyes stared back at them from the shadows. Panic surged through their veins as they recoiled in horror, the figure's face contorted into a sinister grin that sent shivers down their spines. With trembling hands, they flung open the door to save their friends. Without a second thought, they bolted from the shack, their screams tearing through the stillness of the night. Heartbeats thundering, they fled from the clearing, each step a desperate plea for escape. Back at the safety of their campsite, they tried to rationalize their terrifying encounter, chalking it up to too many drinks and overactive imaginations. Yet as they scrolled through the photos taken earlier that day, their blood ran cold at the sight of a figure in the background, its presence undeniable. In the background of each picture, lurking in the shadows of the forest, was the unmistakable figure of a spectral presence, its twisted form haunting their every frame. They were not alone in the woods that night, and the chilling truth of their encounter would forever haunt their dreams. As dread seeped into their bones, questions lingered unanswered. Who, or what, was the silent specter haunting their memories? And what malevolent force had they unwillingly invited into their midst? Who was the mysterious figure haunting their weekend retreat, and what dark secrets lay hidden within the depths of the forest? As the night wore on, their laughter faded into uneasy silence, haunted by the chilling realization that they were not alone in the wilderness. And amidst the whispers of the wind, a sense of dread lingered, a reminder of the sinister forces that lurked just beyond the edge of perception. The woods held their secrets close, leaving the girls to confront the unsettling truth that some horrors refused to stay hidden in the shadows.
Thank you for listening to Girls Gone Camping Uncensored. If you enjoyed this episode, please check out our website or follow us on Facebook to stay up to date with our latest adventures. If you are interested in extra video content, please join us on Patreon. We genuinely appreciate your support. Talk to you all soon.